Welcome to another episode of One Question, where we at Open Doors, Breton Women in Harmony, ask many artists the same question and then compile their answers together. My name is Molly Babin, and I'm the videographer and curator for the Open Doors Facebook page, and I'm very happy to present to you today's question. What is your best experience with performing?
It's really hard to think of one because I've had so many.
That's a tough one.
That's a hard one.
I have been very fortunate to have many very significant experiences.
Oh, that is a tough one to answer.
That's a tough question.
Best experience with performing?
My best experience. That's hard to choose.
I have no idea. I actually don't know.
Just like a time where you felt like that was awesome.
Okay.
Bandemonium. Bandemonium is really like uplifting. There's a lot of Bandemonium is basically there's a bunch of mentors like really like accomplished and like really good musicians, and they go around and they have sessions. Bandemonium is more there's a band and you have a leader of your band, which is one of the talented like professional musicians, and you pick a song or two and you go up and you play them. And usually there's a huge crowd, and then there's an all-star concert after where all of the leaders, they all play all together, and it's just a big jam session, and it's great. And it's a lot of collaboration, and after you go up, you feel so good because you worked so hard on what you did that day. And last year, I was in a band with Keith and a few of my friends, and I'd ended up playing with Keith for his portion of the All-Star concert, which was really cool. And just after everything like that, or even Keith's CD launch, everybody was collaborating, everybody was playing, it was awesome. Just usually after I play in a group with a bunch of people and we're just collaborating and having fun, that's usually when I feel best.
It's sort of the times when you really click with your audience, and then you get people say, oh, that sounded good and that sounded great. But when you get somebody that comes and says something to you, like I had one guy say to me one time, I think it was Wild Mountain Time, and he said, he must have been in his 70s or something, and he said, I haven't been, he was originally from Scotland, he said it took me right back to, there. And those are really cool, and I did another service somewhere, and some lady came up and she said, she's like, I felt like I was in heaven, and it's just like, those are kind of really cool when when somebody feeds back, and it's always nice to hear it sounds good, but then when somebody says, you made me feel something, those are pretty cool.
I think one of my most exciting experiences performing was when I performed Rita McNeil's Home I'll Be in front of thousands of people and backed by a symphony orchestra. That was special. That was very special. But it was also another one that happened also to do with Rita was after she passed away, she'd had this very tiny little funeral, and most of her fans and friends around here didn't ever get to say goodbye. So my business partner, Max McDonald, and I, well, he had actually left as a partner, but he came back and helped me. We put on a great big concert to honor her and all her former bandmates and people that she'd worked with over the years. And I had been with her in the early days, so we were kind of tracing through her career. So I got to be the person that sang, the early songs, like My Island Too, and things like that. So that was a really great experience too, because again, there were over 5,000 people in Center 200, and it was exciting.
For Making Waves one year, my dad invited me to sing one of the songs with his band, and it was Wild Hearts, and I felt so good after that show. I was like, oh my gosh, we rocked that. That was amazing. And the sound was awesome. There were videos of it. I did so good there. Like, my voice didn't crack. I didn't stutter. It was really awesome. I loved it.
I played a really cool show I opened for Madison and Violet, I think in 2019 at the Highland Arts Theatre. And that was a crazy, amazing show. Everybody was really attentive and the crowd was great. And it was just, it's one of my favorite memories.
There's some milestones, like my first Celtic Colors show, which was also when I released my first album. My first solo self-accompanied show, like full show, 90-minute set. That was incredible.
I have a lot of best performances, I think, that weren't necessarily well-known performances. Most of my, I think, favorite moments weren't at big gigs. They were just at maybe small gigs where Emily and I really just got into it.
In the past few years, I have been performing in Moncton at our university bar on campus. I met some awesome people that I've played music with for a couple years, and the feeling in that little bar in Moncton on campus was crazy. We had so much fun, and that's what it was. It was just fun. There was no stress, nothing. We were just playing and having fun, and that's when I realized during those years, during those gigs, that making music was what made me the happiest ever. Playing those gigs where everyone's just in a good mood. So those moments and those gigs were great. But I've also had so many moments here in Shetty Camp playing with the crew here, with the summer productions. I started those productions when I was 10 years old in 2008. So I was playing the role of a little girl, and 10 years later we had a 10-year reunion with that whole crew, and that was one of the most special shows I've ever done. The last show we had a group hug on stage, and I've never had, I mean, we've had group hugs before, but on stage in front of the crowd right after the show, that was special, very special.
I'm very lucky to have performed with so many Cape Breton artists. So many to me anyway. I think I'm fortunate that I've worked with some folks that I can carry some really great stories from, and that falls from house parties to stages that have thousands in front of them. That doesn't necessarily qualify as something that means a massive wow. I think the audience has so much to do with it. I love to perform with anybody, and every bit of it is self-fulfilling.
Playing with a band, so playing with Tom Fun, for example, that I've played with for a long time, and I just feel really comfortable, and it's not about worries or remembering things because you've done it a million times, and it's just truly about enjoying yourself.
I do really love a great listening room, and I feel like there are a handful of experiences that have happened over the years where you just have a really great crowd, or certain songs stuck with people, or people paid attention to the lyrics, or commented afterwards something in particular. There have been a few select kind of house concerts during tour. I remember there was a tour that we did, myself, Alicia Penny, and Steve Fifield. We did a really cool house concert in Sackville one year. That went over really well. And then a couple of small venues that were really just sweet opportunities to play. The Cape North Culture Center, that was really fun. There was 5 of us that played a show up there, so that was really wonderful to do. But I can't pick just one. It's like ice cream, it's hard to pick a favorite.